All right, these are definitely not the best of times for Nigeria, as we've had a lot of casualties stemming from the incessant insecurity that we have been freed, including Boko Haram suspects as well, who were awaiting trial at the KUJE prison, medium prison in Abuja. This again has sent some sort of shivers down the spines of a lot of Nigerians. What do we expect now that we have Nigerians or criminals, so to speak, suspects of Boko Haram insurgency who have been released into the system again? What does this portend for the security architecture of Nigeria in coming days? Where do we go from here? The national security of the country gets worse by the day, and government seems to be helpless in this whole situation. Today, we'll be looking at some of these issues, and we had the news again that the advance team of the president was attacked in Katsina State. That's the height any criminal could go attack on the president's convoy. That's some big deal there. We're going to be talking about this morning on Public Square. My name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun. I have my studio guests already in here to dissect some of the issues this morning again. Would also speak with a security expert on the issue. I mean, we've had to talk about this again. It's so unfortunate, but then we have to speak to it. It is a national issue and we cannot shy away from it. Once again, I say good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program. My name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun, and today I have Mr. Zadok Akintoye in the studios. Thank you for coming, Mr. Zadok.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I also have Barrister Femi Omoshowa. Thank you for coming on the show this morning.
Good morning, Nigerians.
In the course of the program as well, we will speak with Mr. Adiadogun, Honorable Adiadogun, who happens to be a security expert. In that capacity, we'll be speaking with him this morning. And I'll also speak with another security expert, Mr. Adam Sabo, on some of these issues. Where do we go from here? First off, you heard about these two stories, the news filtered in Tuesday night that KUJE prison was attacked in Abuja, and then the president's advance team was attacked again in Katsina. All of these things put together, what would be your first reaction? What's your immediate reaction, Barrister Moshua? I go with you first.
Yeah. It is quite unfortunate that what we are experiencing in Nigeria, we keep experiencing it day by day. And even there are some feelers that move around. There are even some words that some people make that could even tilt towards, arresting this situation before they normally happen. But it's quite unfortunate that we don't take all those information so seriously. I can remember some months back, Senator Shehu Sani painted a scenario like this. Even Abba Kyari, that was even in KUJE prison, said there are some criminals that are being kept in that place. And we've been hearing stories that we need to ask questions. What are our security operatives doing? People who are saddled with responsibility of collating information, the DSS.
Of gathering intelligence.
Intelligence. Because by the time you look at the triangular traffic way to KUJE, when you are coming from Gwagwalada, you get to the airport, there is a military checkpoint before you get to the bridge, then you go to KUJE. From KUJE, there is another road, the whole road that can be used to still get to Gwagwalada. And these people that came for this operation, are we going to say they just came at once? What are the responsibilities of the security men, even the security, the intelligence officers in KUJE prison? That don't they have CCTV? Don't they gather information? And we still need to ask ourselves, is there a compromise? Because I still don't understand how some number of people can come around 10:30 something, and they successfully had a field day without anybody checkmating all that they did. So I conclude with some other people that these people did not just come without having information, and it is not just a one-day thing, and warnings have been coming. For example, it is quite unfortunate and very disgraceful that this is #1 prison correctional center in Nigeria.
One of the most fortified in Nigeria.
Yes, let's even say if there is a litmus test, somebody is coming from America today, they say they want to look at our correctional center. The first place they would take the person to is that one in KUJE. So are we saying this one has failed? And if you are talking, if this one has failed and these criminals can have their own field day, how are we going to talk about the one in Owo?
Okay,
the one in Ikare, in other places?
If we critically assess some of these things, and especially the mode of that attack, one would easily conclude that it was a premeditated attack.
Yes.
It wasn't done in a rush.
Yes.
It wasn't a one-off thing. It was done after clearly and carefully preparing and planning for that attack.
And by the time you still link this even to what these criminals, what they have been saying, they said they asked President Buhari, they made their demands, and this is one of their demands, that they are some of the
co-conspirators, they are men
that have been detained, have to be released. And we need to ask ourselves this question: what are these people still doing in that place?
Sometimes when we hear that they were awaiting trial, that speaks against you. We'll get to that. Yeah. The justice system, judicial system in Nigeria is something to nothing to write about. But we'll talk to that later. But first off, let me ask that, Doc. A lot of people have been talking about insecurity. National security is at a comatose. Nigerians have been, grumbling. Everyone practically lives in fear as we speak. Now, a lot of analysts think that there are fundamental issues that should be addressed first before we start to talk about, improving national security, as it were. Some of these fundamental issues, could you highlight some of them if you also believe in this school of thought, Zadok?
Unfortunate it is, first and foremost, and we must commiserate with anybody whose life was lost or was injured during the attack on the KUJE prison, and the one that also happened against our president. It is very, very important for us to see that some of the things happening in the country at the moment are symptoms. They are symptoms of a decay. They are symptoms of the failure of governance across Nigeria. When you come to a point where a terrorist attack could be perpetrated within the shores of Nigeria and last the entire length of time without any adequate response from either the military or the police, you will see that those who have argued for a restructuring of Nigeria have been validated in their argument. Because the more we keep holding on to this illusion that Nigeria will somehow experience a big bang event that will just make it work without due adherence to processes of law, enforcement of law, and an assurance of some level of social justice for the citizens, the more we can continue to fail our intellectual capacity as a people. Because Nigeria can't work the way we are structured. It can't work in a situation where the call to response for the police or the military in any part of Nigeria must rest at the table of an individual in the north. What if the individual or some of those individuals are bothered with other things or have been compromised? There's no independence, sort of, outside of what the president or those who are handlers of the presidency decide to do. And so you see this recurring. I think that we should be very scared as a people that such a heinous event could happen within the federal capital. Happen for the length of time it did happen.
About 3 hours.
Without any response during the days of the military. And whether we like him or not, I must give kudos to two military gentlemen, Babangida and Abacha. You find that it should have been considered an insult to the Nigerian military, which was ranked one of the best in the world, particularly when it comes to infantry battle. I mean, to be so, made nonsense of in the face of these bandits who are a ragtag association of people who maybe disgruntled or otherwise.
The latest reports we have, is that ISWAP has owned that attack.
Yes,
They're
ISWAP is not a
responsible.
military organization. Though they
But it is a militia group.
Yes, it is militia. Though you can't expect, for instance, that you would do such a thing within the territories of Nigeria and our military is not doing anything or did not or could not respond. We have military intelligence. We have civil intelligence within the police, within the NSCDC. We also have pseudo-military organizations like the DSS. We also have intelligence. So between all our military formations, all our civil formations that are given the right to protect the internal and external security of Nigeria, nobody knew that something like that was going to happen. And when it did happen, our military could not respond. Was it that there was a communication break between the prison service? Was it that there was a communication break between the security services as a whole, that nobody could take a deliberate order? And I see politicization of the military in that before a military general who owns his own command responds, he has to look at what is the body language of these politicians in the National Assembly, in the presidency. You can see the danger where military officers cannot take action because they have to look at, could this be a covert operation sanctioned by somebody in the presidency?
Does it look like that to you?
It does, because there are allegations that the military officers protecting that formation or around that axis were withdrawn
24 hours before.
Allegations.
Exactly.
If they were withdrawn, I think this should also send a signal to citizens that when you find military officers being withdrawn from a place, you need to be very cautious when you are going there. Because how would you explain the coincidence, if we can say it is, of removing the soldiers along that corridor just prior to an attack? How?
A high-profile attack.
How do you explain it to citizens that citizens should be at peace when there seems to be a deliberate, intentional compromise of the security of that place? Somebody was discussing with me this morning and said, maybe this thing was an arrangement between the APC presidency, who did not want to be put to shame by coming to explain to Nigerians why they need to release the Boko Haram suspects in prison. That it could have been, okay, instead of us going to release them where there will be an uproar, you guys would allow.
Why don't we give you a leeway?
Just make sure there's little casualty, but go and because those are speculations, those are imaginations now in the minds of citizens. Nobody is explaining to them clearly why those who have been mandated to defend our country, to protect our lives, were not on seat as at that time. No head is going to roll. The president was there yesterday allegedly to visit the place, and I read a comment from one of my very, very, very respected Nigerians, Fisayo Shoyombo, this morning of NIG, saying that he is quite surprised that the president was there. That he wouldn't have expected the president to be there, not because it is not his responsibility, but history has shown us that the president does not come to places like that except he seems to have an interest. So what exactly is the interest? What is his assessment there? Is he going to come back and tell Nigerians that, look, we are going to be on top of this situation? You are not supposed to be on top of this situation as a reaction. You are supposed to be on top of the situation as a mitigation against something.
Okay, I was going to point that out as well. Just a few hours after the attack, it was said that the area was heavily militarized. And I asked the question of why is Nigeria and the Nigerian government always reactionary in their approach rather than, precautionary? Because at the end of the day, these military officials and personnel that have been deployed to the area after the attack had been carried out could have been deployed there before the attack, to secure the area. What don't you see the same issue in the light I'm seeing it from Mr. Omoshua?
Just like what Mr. Zadok said, we cannot pointedly say that there is maybe it was premeditated, but insinuations have it that why are they running
That the attack is premeditated is not. We cannot.
I'm talking about the withdrawal of the men of Nigerian army, and it is now running contemporaneous the time the attack took place. These days, with the little that I know about what is happening as far as security is concerned, there are some times that you have to withdraw some people, maybe because of what happened yesterday or day before yesterday, when the advance team of the president went somewhere, went to Daura. There are times they withdraw people, go for so. We cannot safely say that this thing is confirming the fact that they were withdrawn so that those people can really attack.
That was just speculative.
Speculative. But Yoruba says, Aje kelano, omo kuleni. Tani omo ipe aje to kelano, on lo pomoje. But with the way things are in Nigeria, I have rightly said something here. We don't take information so seriously. We don't even in our villages those days, when a madman talks, people listen with rapt attention. Even a drunkard, especially now that the situation is so tensed, and you see most of what this Senator Shehu Sani said, even Melafia of blessed memory, most of the thing the former deputy governor of Central Bank said, they are playing out one after the other as far as our security is concerned. Senator Shehu Sani said it some time ago. He said we should not be surprised that one day something that looks like a military coup will just happen. And when it happens, people will say, oh, a respite has come. It may be this ISWAP or the remnant of the Boko Haram or the Boko Haram that have graduated into ISWAP. They are the one that has taken over. And they will hoist their flag at the villa. And look at the space with which this thing is happening. The attack, the train attack, very close to Abuja. The one now in KUJE. How many kilometers is KUJE to the municipal? So we need to begin to collate all this information, begin to juxtapose it, and begin to say, could this thing happen? Because all what we are seeing in Nigeria today is as if we are dreaming. This is not the Nigeria that we rise up, that we were born into. It is becoming very, very worrisome and very surprising that we are seeing this.
Okay, some of the statistics that we have, an update on that attack says that according to the defense minister now, it confirms that 64 Boko Haram suspects escaped. About 600 escapees were recorded, but of the 600, 64 were Boko Haram suspects. Okay. Kaduna train attackers likely behind KUJE prison invasion. That's according to Sheikh Gumi's spokesman. That's another speculation. Soldiers were posted out of KUJE prison same day of attack. That's another speculation. APC complicit in attack. PDP alleges. ADC presidential candidate Kachiku urges Buhari to resign over worsening insecurity. Akeredolu condemns attack on Buhari's convoy, says state police solution to insecurity. Okay, all of these are some of the reactions that we have since the attack was carried out in KUJE. And quickly we'll take a listen to some of the sound bites of these stakeholders so we could have a first-hand information on some of these issues. And then we'll be back. Let's quickly inform you that we're live on Facebook. You could join us, drop your comments, and we'll read them.
We're trying to see what we can do to ensure that all the escapees are brought back to the prison yard. And I think the prison is accommodating about 994 inmates. And SPP we have about 600 already inside now. And and many people are recaptured and are being brought back to the prison. Maybe by the close of the day, more will have been captured and returned to prison. I think everything is under control.
There's one clear thing I observed while I was Minister of Interior. That is the attitude of the staff themselves. And incidentally, last week I was in Sokoto, whereby there was a retreat of the correctional service. And the theme of that retreat is a public expectation of the Nigerian Correctional Service. And that is in relation to the act recently signed, that is in 2019, the Nigerian Correctional Act Service Act 2019. And from all indications over the years, the Nigerian Prison Service has not been able to meet the minimum standards of the treatment and rehabilitation of prisoners as provided by the United Nations. And also, and I think that is what informed the shift from the whole idea of prisons to the new idea of corrections.
Okay, we just heard the voice of Minister of Interior Bashir Magashi and a former Chief of Army Staff General Abdurrahman Dambazo. Both of them raised some concerns there. The first speaker, that's Mr. Magashi, gave some of the statistics that we earlier railed out. And then there is a particular man that raised a lot of concerns that we, Nigerian, especially the Nigerian government and stakeholders especially, should look into, because we've talked about the attack so much without having to necessarily stress the structure, the structural, dilapidated structure, so to speak, of that prison, how the place is situated, what the environment looks like, how it was so easy for these attackers to penetrate the compound of the prison without too much trouble, so to speak. Captain Sadiq Shehu is a retired military officer, and he has some of these concerns regarding the attack.
Sincerity, I will say I'm happy to hear that the president said he was disappointed. I've never been to KUJE, just passed on my way to the airport. But when there is a national issue, it is everybody's issue. I took time to go to KUJE prison for the first time today, and I was noting the terrain and the access to the prison right from when I turned off the main road and went. Now, the issue is as soon as you come towards KUJE, the main prison itself, what strikes you is a neglected, derelict building. The main gate which you will enter is so crowded with trees, with overgrown shrubs, that you cannot see 10 meters ahead of you. My estimation is that if somebody, especially somebody with a bad plan, wants to move on that KUJE prison, even if there is a sentry at the gate, that sentry will not know that man is approaching until the man is upon the factory. I had the president said he is disappointed with CCTV and the rest. With due respect, the president, if he had come the way I came down from outside, even though I know his convoy will enter, he will drop at inside. Even the walls, the outer walls of the KUJE prison, they are too low for a prison perimeter wall. The sketchy barbed wire they put on top is against the regulation. There are standards of how a security wall that is housing a prison should be. You should be talking about a wall that is putting 8 to 15 feet. 8 to 15 feet, the outer. By my estimation, because I can estimate height, that what I saw there is about 7 feet maximum. That is the standard. And you are supposed to put 3, rolls of barbed wire on top. The idea is at least to delay an attacker. Now you are even talking about the wall. When you come approaching the building, you meet this wall. But when you enter, to your right, to your left, to the front, almost 270%, an intruder can get into that prison easily. First, the place is clustered, overgrown with grasses, which would give any attacker even cover, especially in the night. This will come in the night. Even in the afternoon, there is enough cover for you to move onto that prison until you are near where the inmates are kept. The requirement is that between the outer wall, you should have two fences in a normal prison, the outer one and the inner one. Between the outer one and the inner one, the outer one may be like a wall, but the inner one should be like a fence, which allows for visibility. Between these two, you're able to have a clear area. What is the reason for
All right, that was Captain Shehu Sadiq, a retired military officer, raising some of his concerns and observations when ma- uh, he made a visit to the Kuje prison surrounding and the environment. And he thinks that the state of that facility could make it vulnerable even to attackers who are not as high profile as ISWAP, let alone the ISWAP and the Boko Haram of this world. Talking about some of these concerns that he raised, that before we get over to our security experts on the other side, would you react to some of these issues raised by the retired military officer?
Thank you. I think valid position the military officers raised. He did mention structural issues, which for me largely are preemptive and defensive system is talking about, having fences and things like that. But what is most critical about this case will not be the structural challenges of the place as much as it would be the fact that they could attack that place without any resistance from our military facilities dotted all over Abuja. No rapid response from either the police or the military. The questions then come, could it be because the military is aware of the challenges of a reprisal of a response in that place, wherein casualties may be on the high side? For instance, he spoke about ample facilities for cover for anybody who's attacking such a place. I did mention yesterday in a conversation with a few of my friends that the fact that they attacked at night makes it very, very difficult for adequate response to be given either by people, by the military or the police, because you need to have an idea of the environment. The arsonists or the attackers, the terrorists, already had an advantage in that they had occupied the territory you need to fight for. And if the territory, like the prison service, cannot fight from within itself, then it has to be protected from outside. When you come to protect such a place, you will find that they have the advantage in that they would have positioned themselves, if they have snipers, they would have positioned themselves in very good positions to take out your officers and the rest. So would that be the reason why the military did it? If that is a reason, a valid reason on their part, then you would ask, what are we then doing in protecting, I mean, as government, in protecting or in forethinking this kind of event? Knowing the high caliber of prisoners in that facility, it would have been expected that such an attack was likely. And so, in such a case, who are those that are to be responsible for ensuring that such a facility has capacity from within to defend the assets that are within it?
Okay, I'll come back to you, Zado. Can we have Honorable Ajogo live now? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on the program. So we've been discussing the latest attack on a correctional facility in Nigeria, and precisely that of KUJE in Abuja, and there have been a lot of reaction regarding that analysis as well. As a security experts, how would you analyze the attack and the resultant effect of this attack? What does it portend for the future of Nigeria, security speaking?
First, I think the attack is shameful. And as a nation, if we have no sense of shame, we should go somewhere and buy that sense of shame because the leadership of the country, from top to bottom, should go sit down in a place and hide their faces. Hide their faces because the shame is too much for us to bear. The truth is, did we expect that this would happen? The signs were there. There were early warning indicators. When you start negotiating with terrorists and they give indication that they want certain things, you should take steps. When the train bomb attack, when this was started negotiating after the release of the members held in custody, what anybody, any reasonable person would do is make sure that they're spread all over the country. You don't keep all of them in one location. They negotiate, they were asking for this in exchange for the 50 or 60 people still held from the train attack. So there was no point bringing them together in one location. And then there were one or two other errors. There were other ISWAP terrorists that were inside in other locations. They were brought to Kuje prison last week. Why were they brought to Kuje prison? Why did you concentrate all of them in a medium security prison? In other realms, you know about US, what they do is you move terrorists to Guantanamo Bay. You move them to locations where they can, where other terrorists can access them. Then now always, we look for a soft target and just, it just looks more like, there was complicity on the part of government to release those people. That's the way that is.
Hmm. Okay, that was a blunt one from you. Consider the fact that you are a member of the APC. Well, moving forward, we a lot of speculations actually pointing figures at the government at the center of complicity, as you rightly speculated as well. Now, do you think that the release of these Boko Haram members, suspects into, of course, there are other escapees, but the major attention is on the Boko Haram members that have been released into the society. Do you think there could be a reorganization of the terrorist group to perpetrate even more dangerous attacks than we've recorded already?
You see, when I was growing up, I grew up with my grandmother, and it says that there's a growth in the art of stealing. If a child lies, the child will steal. When a child starts picking pocket and starts picking meat from the pot, the child will turn to an armed robber. So when you have people who move from kidnapping to evading and breaking into prison, they'll look for something more daring. They've been emboldened. So you should be expecting something more. And then when they have the boldness to attack, an advanced congress of the president of the country, what else is left for them to do? There's nothing else left. All they have to do is just probably march on Council of and take the president captive.
What should government do in this regard? What's the way forward?
I'm a member of the APC, so I'm going to be blunt. We won't expect any mandate in the next 11 months. I've seen the capacity to do anything. We've lost it. I don't think there's any way to do anything on the part of the APC government, in which I'm a part of. I don't think there's any way to do anything. If there was any way, they should have been done before now. So what are you going to do? I mean, I saw a tweet, president to the president. I'm believing it's a parody tweet about security failure, intelligence failure, and all that. I don't think that's true because ordinarily what we should be hearing ahead should be rolling. The heads of why is there an intelligence failure? Why didn't we have enough security men on ground? Why would 300 people move? I mean, I know Kuje very well. You can't drive into Kuje without passing two or three military checkpoints. How did these people get into this place? Where did they get at least 100, 200 motorbikes to get to this location? Where were they? You hear stories about people congregating in neighborhoods, speaking strange languages and all that,
Hmm.
and nobody reported it. I mean, it's just such a failure is so blatant that you're asking yourself, where do we start from? We need to start a thorough organization. I don't think the present government has the capacity to do it. I don't think that's required to restore security in Nigeria.
Okay, summarizing what you just said, you think that the government is a bit laid back to actually tackling the major issues that we have on the table. What do you think is responsible for this attitude from government?
Well, perhaps we are dying with the devil in the past. And when you die with the devil, sometimes it's difficult to actually descend on the same devil. Perhaps that's what happened because I really can't
Would you
understand
be
what
more
happened.
clear
The
with that?
failure of the failure is so blatant. There are a lot of stories that people talk about that this back to probably 2014, 2015. I just hope they just keep calling these stories. But what's happening now just doesn't look like there's any effort to actually
Mm.
stop what's happening.
Okay.
Okay, more politics that's very nice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adiajogun, for being a part of the program this morning. Thank you very much. Really appreciate. Okay. A lot has been said, Zadok. First, he also talked about complicity of government. It talked about the unwillingness of government to do anything at all, given the fact that the administration, the Buhari administration, is winding down in the next couple of months. It will be a thing of the past. And we've not recorded any tangible success story regarding security. Do you really think that there could be some sort of politicking with this issue?
Look, except we want to be insincere with
Like he said,
ourselves. Yes, except we want to be insincere with ourselves. Would we not say that what Honorable Adiabi said is the truth, the only truth, and nothing
nothing
but the truth?
but the truth.
I must say something to him, and I know he's listening, that we appreciate you. you have for your forthrightness.
No, it's been like that from day one.
Even long before he got elected, I've always known him as somebody that is clear to the point and very truthful.
Now, from this table, truthfully, he is a true Democrat.
No,
we must say that.
He's an asset.
Yes.
He has only spoken to the issue. And that's how it is. I don't think that Nigerians are really interested in those who speak the truth. Otherwise, there's no reason why the president should still be there. There's no reason why the minister for defense should be there. There's no reason why everybody there that is in the chain of command to secure that facility and other facilities for Nigeria should still be there. We play politics with everything. There's this Baba Sokpe Kabiesi kind of mindset about us, where we don't want to question leaders. That mindset itself. If
truly Nigerian leaders are playing politics with the security issues in Nigeria, who is benefiting from the politicking?
Yeah, it's the political elite. It's the elite. Let me give you an instance. We are one country with divided interests. There are political interests, there are religious interests, and each of these interests has been empowered to have an advantage. And so, when they come into power, if somebody's interest is more religious, or political, or sectional, or tribal, he's going to use the power that he has been given to defend his interest. Sometimes it is better to have thieves stealing in power, because you know their interest at the worst is to steal, than to have people who have a mandate to divide, to polarize, to disadvantage different sections of Nigeria for their personal benefit. Because you keep asking, and I wonder how the National Security Advisor will still be on the seat. If such a facility, KUJE is probably one of our most popular after Kirikiri prison. Most popular,
and most fortified,
most identified prisons location. And then it is within Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and very close to the airport, where you have a military formation, you have a naval formation along that axis too. You have all of these formations there. Abuja has probably one of the best set of roads in Nigeria, where you can easily get to that point, even from the military headquarters. And nobody responded for about 3 hours. And you are saying that we should, people will just put their hands behind them, and because it is Baba or it is Mama and it's for politics,
okay,
they don't see anything. That's why every Nigerian should clap for Adeogun, and even for my brother here who is APC. The impact of what is happening in Nigeria is not asking you for your voters card or for your party membership card. It's affecting everybody. The bullet does not discriminate who you are, whether you are the one carrying the gun or the one shooting or the one receiving the bullet. When a bullet hits an individual, it doesn't care what your party alliance is, and we are all suffering it.
Okay, that said, I will be back to take the reaction of President Muhammadu Buhari. He also alluded to that. I mean, Mr. Adeogun also alluded to his reaction, but we will dwell a bit more on his reaction when we return from this commercial break.
Shagun, wait that MTN SIM card where I sent you go buy.
Boss, I don't drop am since for table with your change.
Change?
Bros, me sef I shock. MTN SIM don turn 200 naira.
Yes, so MTN SIM card don turn 200 naira. Plus 1,000 naira wolf follow come credit. You never finish, Dem go sama you 700% wolf bonus anytime when you recharge 100 naira or more to make call, text, or for data with the last wella. Just register, make you activate your new MTN SIM to begin jollificate this ogbonge MTN awoof. So, wetin we dey do today?
There are moments in life when you're just so scared and you feel like just giving up. Oh, but Dino Milk is saying, we know that you can do it. Believe in yourself and then go for it. Go for it. Nourishment, that is your Dino Milk. Oh, yes, Dino Milk, Dino Milk. Drink up your Dino Milk, Dino Milk.
All right, so welcome back. It's still Public Square on Adabai 2.9 FM, and today we're looking at the national security of Nigeria, especially the latest attack, high-profile attack on the correctional center in the KUJE prison in Abuja, and some of the eventualities that were recorded from that attack. First off, Mr. Moshua, the president, after the attack was carried out, paid a visit on the spot visit assessment visit, so to speak, to the prison. And he released a statement expressing his sadness over the attack and disappointment with the intelligence system, how the terrorists could organize, have weapons, attack the security installation, and get away with it. He also said he's expecting a comprehensive report on this shocking incident. A lot of Nigerians have reacted to the president's statement on that particular incident. Some of them think that that was just a facade. If you ask me, that there are no real intents from that could be, deduced from that statement. Well, as a Nigerian that you are as well, how would you react to the president's reaction?
I want to say
No
this
pun
another. This
intended.
is a new statement. It has always been that maybe we are on top of the situation, we'll get to the root of it and what have you. But I want to conclude, and I will not hide the fact that the president himself is overwhelmed. We need to tell ourselves the truth. The way the Nigerian army is overwhelmed, that is the way the president himself.
And whose fault is that?
Oh, you say whose fault is that? In a civilized society, I want to believe what happened yesterday is enough for the headship of a nation to have a rethink. Am I getting it right, or am I not getting it right? So am I going to blame somebody that knows what is right, somebody that is controlling, commander-in-chief of armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and with the population of 200 million people? The only thing I will not allude to here is when we begin to use the acronym APC PDP to blame ourselves. As soon as somebody becomes the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces of a nation, it's not commander-in-chief of armed forces of APC, PDP, SDP. No, is holding sway for the whole nation. And they said, uneasy lies the heirs that wear the crown. Somebody today, if anybody is talking about the headship of Nigeria, is President Buhari. Buhari was only produced through APC. But Buhari is president of PDP, president of every other person in Nigeria. And if Buhari has failed, too bad. Too bad. And if that is the situation as it is, nobody will tell the president. We have seen it happen in many countries where some people will just feel that, oh, I am not getting it right. I just throw in the trowel. I get out.
Okay, let's quickly take the stance of Mr. Adams Abu, who is also a security expert. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Abu. Okay, so have you been following the conversation, if I may ask? Okay, so the KUJE prison was attacked. A lot of reactions have been coming in. The president reacted. The major opposition party reacted. There have been a lot of analysis from retired military officers and even stakeholders in the system. What would be your analysis on the attack, rather?
For any most of these attacks is because we don't have adequate resources that they can make us to respond or even get prepared for it. Take for instance the number of people that came to attack that place, and take for instance the number of security agencies that were in that place. Take another factor in security. There is something we call security coverage, the application of various security methods and strategies in achieving the desired goal. There is no likeliness that there was any transmitter, any drone around that place that we know that we have those kind of high caliber suspects that they are in detention. So when they came, they just had a few days, and just like they have done in all the places. This is not the first time they have even been to that particular prison and other prisons across the country. So everybody would expect that before now, we should have adequate security. Any warning sign around that place that can easily tell you, and no standby force, no communication between that particular time outside security that can come bring reinforcement immediately that there is an attack. There was no question, and that's why they did it freely.
Oh, okay. We lost Mr. Abu there, but we'll definitely get back to him. I think that was some network issues. Now, back to Mr. Moshua. A lot of questions have been asked, a lot begging for answers. Part of these questions are, were there no officers on duty at that particular day, on that particular day, at that particular moment? How many of them were armed? Were there guards on the watchtower? Because there's usually a watchtower in presence of that level, of that caliber. And then what did they do? Do they have CCTV working in the premises of this facility? Some of these questions have been asked, and we don't even know where to start from and what to say to some of these issues. Do you think that government should do more in ensuring that there is proper funding of such facilities moving forward?
Yeah. In addition to what I was saying before now, before I
Okay,
conclude
Mr. Abu
the
is back.
question.
Sorry, we have to. Mr. Abu,
Okay,
thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, so some of the questions that have been asked
Yeah,
are more technical than, because a lot of analysis have been a bit emotional. Some
yeah,
of the technical issues are, there's supposed to be a watchtower within the premises of the facility, and
exactly,
that watchtower should have personnel manning it to ensure for surveillance purposes actually. And
exactly.
how would you, what should be the security architecture, because you are an expert, the security
Yeah,
architecture of a
look,
facility of that caliber?
look. This particular facility, apart from the personnel, it depends again the deployment of the personnel that are around that place. Now, if we have a place like that, and you have their own armed squad within the premises, they are followed by the civil defense. You in the outer range, you are supposed to have the military and the outer range, and of course, the element of intelligence outer range. You talk about their watchtower. Were they there? Were they physically on ground at that time, and yet they did not notice anything? Again, which technology was backing up this particular facility in its protection? We have a drone fit with all the facilities of GPS and so on that has adequate sensor that can detect movement around our detention facilities where we have this. America had this detention facility. We know the kind of protective security that was around that place. Do we have all these at details? And like I said before, what is the network between the response team outside and those that are inside? Because if there was the time of the response team to come to their aid will not last up to this 1 hour or more that the people operated and left and yes, there was no any intervention because we did not know, we did not see any sign that there was an engagement by the forces on ground. So it makes everything look unprofessional from the beginning to the end.
Okay. Now, a lot of people have opined that naturally, when attacks of such magnitude, of such profile happens, some people must be made scapegoats. Some people must be
Yeah,
made to pay for it. Some people who
yeah,
probably were not on hand to prevent such attack, that were, not
yeah,
competent enough, so to speak, should be made to
yeah.
face the music. Who would you think should be made scapegoats in this case?
The ministers that oversee this facility, they have no business to be there any longer. The controller general, because at the end of the day, he's the major stakeholder. He's the one that these other services are coming to work with. His men and his team, he has his own intelligence unit. It depends how, with their own professional colleagues, deploy the men across all these prisons that they are breaking every day. They have no business to be there any longer. They needed people that can, think, even this one, you should even think within the box first before you even talk of thinking outside the box. Those people have no longer any business because on a daily basis, we are being embarrassed here and there, just like the president himself said yesterday. And then the president himself would have known the kind of facilities they have provided for them. Those he knew he had provided and did not use it, did not get an outcome. the way he should, not always by this
Okay, we have to. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abu. I think we have to end the conversation there because of our time. But first, before I come back to Mr. Moshua, let's quickly pay some bills of our.
What's better than getting a new MTN SIM card? Getting one for next to nothing. That's not all. Your new MTN SIM comes with amazing bonuses such as 1,000 Naira preloaded airtime and 700% bonus on every recharge of 100 Naira and above. All this for just 200 Naira. So you can join the yellow family for less. You just have to register and activate your new MTN SIM to make calls, text, and stay connected longer only on MTN. So, what are we doing today?
All right, so welcome back, Mr. Moshua. Quickly, your line of thoughts. I asked a question from Mr. Abu about what heads should roll, because a lot of people have been saying that some people should be made scapegoats, some people should be made to face the music. Who and who do you think should fall under this category?
He has said it. The man that is saddled with the
The
responsibility.
Controller
General, even the minister. And by the time there is need for them to be asked questions. If there is a place, maybe they have issues, they should explain to the whole world why things that are supposed to be done are not properly done. And this is national now. When we're talking about APC or PDP or what have you, let us look at in some states, even in Zamfara, somewhere, even in Ondo State here, the governor of Ondo State has taken it upon himself that this is his own security matter, not national matter. So if anybody that's supposed to do something fails, it's his own failure. Like in Ondo State, the governor of Ondo State is not even taking any chances as far as security is concerned. And by the time you now look at who is supposed to face the music or not, there is no system in Nigeria that is functioning well. It's no system. Look at these men, these security men, and even the men at the correctional center. That some of them are not even, their morals are not boosted. Some of them, when you look at them, even the last time I went to KUJE prison, you see some of them are wearing slippers. And just like what a security expert said when he visited that place, in fact, there are some trees that have overgrown even the tower house.
Watchtower.
So how can they function well?
Okay, a quick one from our Facebook Live. Or Morgan Dennis Orido says, honestly speaking, there is no magnitude of discussionary input stand the chance of changing the barbaric, inhuman, and satanic trends of events in Nigeria on Nigeria's security. Without mincing words, the daredevil bandits and insurgents have taken over the entire national geography, while Buhari and the APC-led government looks the other way. All right, thank you very much. We got your comments, and this one is from Olumido Gundowale. It says, this is very interesting. No wonder they decided not to return him. The studio guest and Honorable Adeogun did well. This isn't about party affiliation. Nigeria is failing, and Ajayi Temitope Michael, I wonder why we're surprised about a KUJE prison attack. Was the NDA in Kaduna not attacked seamlessly? Does it appear to us the leadership of the country is sincere about security situation of the country? Are we sure there is no institutional or leadership compromise at work here? These and many more questions are what we should interrogate. Okay, Zado, quickly before we go. A lot has been said already, but
I think that sometimes when we demand that government should buy equipment, we need to understand, if you look at the way American security agencies plan and prepare scenarios before their attacks, you will know that at best our military and paramilitary agencies here are just acting drama, because they keep reenacting this scenario that happened in KUJE. For any developed environment, they would have planned, reacted it, to plan what their countermeasures will be. But we don't do that. I expect that police wardens who are looking at their service to nation as an opportunity to make money and build houses will then come and face guns. Or soldiers who are not being paid adequately will come and face guns. Nigerians are already tired. The only thing is that we don't have people like Adeogun to speak the truth to power.
And that's
May God
quite
bless this country.
unfortunate. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Zadok Akintoye and Barrister Femi Omoshua for coming on the program today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. And to our other guests who called from outside the studio, Mr. Adam Sabo and Honorable Ade Adeogun, we also appreciate your input on the program this morning. To everyone who contributed, those who have been trying to call, sorry, we cannot take calls today, but then for those who dropped comments on Facebook, thank you very much as well. Well, we're just hoping to see better days ahead of Nigeria, especially regarding the security and the national state of affairs, because as it is already now, everyone seems to be living in fear, like we said before. Until next week when we'll be back on the show, my name is Olabisi Olani Oluwasegun. Thank you and good morning.
Shegun, where that MTN SIM card we I sent you go buy?